were knotted at 1 through 7 innings. A pair of runs were exchanged in the 8th and 9th to tie it again. But in the bottom of the 10th, Michael A. Taylor needed one fly ball to end the game. And that will do it. High in the air. Left center. See you later. That's a little longer than a sac fly. And the Nats win by 3. We have a great crowd coming into Nationals Park last night, and you wonder how many saw what happened last evening and decided to come right back. So Robinson, Harper, the left-handed bats getting ready. Anthony Rendon has warmed up his game. The Nats offense is flying high. This ball club 5 games behind the Mets, and they're trying to get to the 70-win mark with a W tonight. It's interesting, FP, a great ball game last night. You kind of forget that all the significant hits late in the game came off the bench for both teams.
Yeah, the bench guys ruled last night for sure, and it started with Nick Swisher coming off the Braves bench. He gave them the lead in the 8th, base hit through the right side. That would put them up 2-1. And right when you're watching stuff going on in South Florida, the Mets are behind the Marlins. There's drama down there. You're thinking, you know, the Nats are going to drop this one. Then bottom of the 9th, 2 outs. Matt Dendecker comes up. It's a base hit up the middle. This place went nuts. And then one of the highest home runs I think I've seen in a long time. Michael A. Taylor ends it on a 3-run shot, walks him off at the bottom of the 10th. And you just had a feeling that things were going to change around here, and that was a big-time momentum switcher. But the bucket of filth, everybody going crazy. Great night at Nats Park last night.
What a mess that was. And by the way, it was the first pinch hit walk-off home run in the history of the Washington Nationals. So Michael A. Taylor makes a little bit of history, and now we need Gio to be really strong tonight against this Atlanta ball club. They have stacked it with right-handed batters as far as their lineup. Gio's looking for number 10. Only start against Atlanta this season. He was real good May 8th, 7 innings, couple of runs, 8 strikeouts. He doesn't have a great career record against the Braves. Let's hope he gets on the road back right now. You by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Airlines for America, where airplanes land, opportunity takes off. Gorgeous night in D.C. And the Braves are ready. Gio's ready. Man, he was out there about a minute and a half early. So here comes your first pitch. Gio Gonzalez and Nick Markakis right on time at 7:05 with a fly ball to left. Long one for Clint Robinson as far as the run, and he takes it right at the corner of the seats. 1 out.
3-5 loss last start in St. Louis for Gio Gonzalez. Went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits, struck out 4 cards, walked 2 through 92 pitches. So fastball, curveball, changeup is what the Braves will be seeing from Gio Gonzalez here tonight.
Pedro Siriaco gets the call at second base for Atlanta. 1 for 1 in this series. He's 1 for 2 career against Gio. 13th career start for the Nats lefty against these Braves. High ERA 4.93, 3-8. That all goes out the window tonight. The Nats need a win. Sun's starting to set. 81 at the ballpark. Humidity up there at 57%, but a gorgeous night.
And I can't see.
2-0. Braves have lost 10 in a row, 17 of 18. They've lost 11 straight on the road. By the way, in Miami tonight is Bartolo Colon and Brad Hand. Mets, Marlins. Ball 3. Don't want to walk this guy in front of Freddie Freeman. 18-year veteran, the crew chief Jerry Meals has the plate. Andy Fletcher, Clint Fagan, Paul Emmel. First, second, and third.
That's the big-time performance out of Gio Gonzalez tonight. One of those 7-inning jobs where he's throwing strikes as efficient as he can be with his kind of spray mentality that he has out there.
Right in there, 3-2.
But just get it, let it fly. Don't think about anything. Control what you can control on the mound and grip it and rip it. And that's what he did on this 3-1 pitch. Perfectly placed, 93 miles an hour. Don't think, just pitch. Remember when Gio used to get his hair cut before every start? That used to be a superstition. Said it made him feel fresh for every start. That hasn't happened lately.
1 out walk after he went to a full count on Pedro Siriaco. Braves lineup, so you've seen the first 2. Freddie Freeman, a guy to be concerned about. 2 spots in front of Cameron Maybin. Maybin hitting nearly 300 against the Nats in this series. 3 for 8 with a base on balls, and he's hitting 360 with runners in scoring position, and that's 5th highest in the league. But right now, the guy you're worried about is Freddie Freeman. 9 for 27 career against Gio with 10 runs batted in. He's up there hacking. Freddie Freeman has 50 RBIs this year, despite being out 42 games with a right wrist problem. He's 3 for 5 with 3 walks in this series. Target outside edge. Breaking ball. See how much Gio can use the breaking ball tonight against all the right-handed hitters other than Freddie Freeman. A long look at Siriaco. Outside, 2-1. Way inside, ball 3. This is a danger count in the first inning. And it's way inside. 2 consecutive walks.
Set the defense for the Nats behind Gio tonight. Robinson, Harper, Worth your outfield. Desmond Escobar left side. Rendon, Zimmerman right side. And Wilson Ramos behind the plate. Looks to me like Gio's not finishing right now. And what I mean by that is not really throwing to the target. and reaching out to Wilson Ramos. When he's good, he tries to throw that ball right through Wilson Ramos's chest, and it looks to me like he's easing up a little bit to find the strike zone here early.
Well, things get tough. Here's an experienced switch hitter in Nick Swisher, who had some success against Gio over the American League. 6 for 17 career with a home run, 6 RBIs. On the inside edge. I don't think Swisher liked it a whole lot. He's kind of staring down, wondering where that edge of the plate really is. Big hit last night for Nick that put the Braves on top, 8th inning. RBI, 2 walks, 1 for 4 in the series. As a right-handed batter, hitting .235. That's a good curveball. Slow roller to third. Escobar steps on the bag and pulls Zimmerman off the other bag. Could have been a 5-3 double play. Nats will settle for the 5 unassisted fielder's choice.
Well, it looks like Swisher has trouble getting out of the box, and if Escobar makes a good throw to first, he's got him. But he had to rush, so he didn't have time to get his feet underneath him, and that's where the problem started with the throw. So takes the out at third, steps on the base, and just kind of cut that ball across the infield. Usually he sinks it.
Well, that gets Maben to the plate here. Gio working quickly. First inning, couple of walks. A pop fly to start it. Now a ground ball out. If you're a Nats pitcher these days, you want to get right in the dugout and get these guys hacking. 85. Turned it over on the right-handed batter.
Well, you can just tell when Gio's slow and he's got that little hitch in his delivery where he stays over the rubber just a tick. It's hard to see full speed. But when he has that little pause at the top and he stays behind the baseball, that's when he has his command. When he drifts off that backside and goes toward the target too soon, that's when he loses his release point.
So getting ready for the 20th pitch of the first inning. And a chance to put a 0 on the board here. Bryce Harper a few steps toward the left center gap. Robinson deep in left. 2-2 pitch inside.
A lot of red looking on.
Nah, the runners will get a head start. And a bouncing ball to Ian Desmond's right. Nice waist-high hop over to Zimmerman. Inning over. So a couple of walks. The Braves strand 2. Here comes a high-flying Washington offense. Right now at 253, third in runs, third in home runs. Wilson Ramos, kind of indicative of the Nats offense lately, when Ramos, Desmond, other guys sitting toward the bottom of the order have been producing. Now Wilson had his hitting streak ended last night when he was a pinch hitter and struck out. Kind of a tough way to have a streak end, but he's in there tonight handling Gio and hitting right in front of Gio behind Ian Desmond.
You see the arsenal for Shelby Miller. Get this, first 8 starts of the year, 5-1 with a 1.33 ERA. He had 27 runs of support in those 8 starts. Last 19 starts for Shelby Miller, 0-11 with a 3.13 ERA and 21 runs total in 19 starts. He's had 21 runs of support in his last 19 starts.
Wow. Hasn't won a game since May 17th.
That's all you really need to know.
Swing and a miss by Jason Worth. Yeah, that was the Jason Hayward deal. Sending Hayward to St. Louis and bringing Miller a great arm to Atlanta. And Jason Worth will hit this ball pretty far out into right field, but Markakis will grab it well in front of the track for the first out. Jason came in 2 for 9 career against Miller. Anthony Rendon is next, and he's 4 for 11 against the right-hander. Anthony, 12 of his last 13 hitting safely. 0 for 5 last night, so his hitting streak and Ramos came to an end, but still hitting .362 over that time. And they're up there hacking against Shelby Miller.
You see the Braves defense tonight. Oliveira back at third base. Siriaco at second tonight for the Braves, and Bethencourt behind the plate.
A 1 pitch. Right in there with a bullet. Anthony 1 for 9 with a walk against Atlanta, but he scored 3 runs in this series. And 32 homer man, 80 RBI man, Bryce Harper on deck. Upstairs for the strikeout, 2 straight to start Shelby Miller's night. Starting with Bryce Harper, some game notes for you. 8 of his last 9 plate appearances, he's been on base. In this series, 2 for 3, 6 walks, 6 runs. Braves have the fewest home runs in all of baseball. Haven't handled lefties very well. And the Nats, last 17 games, averaging 6, hitting more than a homer a game. The walks are amazing, and the runs keep on coming. Bryce has broken into another stat category again, 41 multi-hit games, and he's now 8th in the league in that, to go along with everything else. The runs, the extra base hits, the base hits, the power. Look out, right over the dugout. First inning, good start last night.
Yeah, big tater. Fastball right down the middle. Julio Teheran waved it off, but there was nothing he could do after it hit the barrel of Bryce Harper's bat. Upper tank, right center field. Put the Nats on top, 1-0.
0-2. Shelby Miller off to a good start. This guy's got some kind of arm. Does he get run support tonight, or can the Nats get to him? No score early.
So does Gio Gonzalez. And when it's all on time, that's when he's throwing strikes. Just want to show you one out of the stretch. In all of the parts that are moving, the big leg kick, the drive to the plate, the head toward the target, and then the release point. So all those things have to be on time for Gio to get the ball out in front and be on top of it. And so his release point is such a touchy thing all the time because he's got a lot of moving parts and they're moving quick. So when he stays back over the rubber, a lot like Ryan Zimmerman with his leg kick and his head stays back, that's when the release point gets out in front, drives his head right toward the target, and throws more strikes than balls.
Yeah, it's not like Gio had a nightmare in St. Louis last start. He went 6. Hot shot, Escobar right there. Turned him around and put him on the dirt. 1 out off the bat of Andrelton Simmons. I tell you, that position has been the hot corner in this series for both teams.
Now this ball was torched. Little hook to it too. And you see where Yunel Escobar is playing in for the bunt. Close to the play. It looks like it scared him. It scared me too, playing in that quick. That was more of, that ball caught him.
Number 7 hitter Hector Oliveira. No balls and 2 strikes.
Watch the expo and watch Yunel's face. I mean, when a ball's coming at you 100+ miles an hour, it's not that easy, and it's a scary thing. That's a nice play.
Then Gio responds with a quick strikeout. 3 pitches to Oliveira, and Bethancourt will be next.
Pretty good curveball right here by Gio Gonzalez. So a 3-pitch see ya. Thanks for coming. Curveball in the dirt. Can't hold up.
There's number 8 hitter Christian Bethancourt. He has really struggled this year. A lot of time in the minor leagues with the Braves. 39 games, 23 hits, hitting a .183. A.J. Pierzynski has had most of the playing time this year. He gets the night off against Gio. And then Bethancourt 0 for 1 career against the Nats left-hander. Swing and a miss.
Kind of tied him up with a fastball. It's an uncomfortable looking swing right there. Very stiff.
Target in. Maybe they go in a little further. He misses on the other side of the plate, but gets the strikeout. And just what Gio needed, a very quick top of the 2nd inning. He gets to lead off the pitcher next inning.
Welcome back to Nationals Park. The Nats gained potentially a big momentum builder last night with a walk-off win here, and then the Mets losing in a walk-off to the Marlins. Then today, a potentially big development out of Mets camp. After saying all season that he intended to pitch as long as he could and not wanting to be skipped as part of a six-man rotation or have his start skipped, Matt Harvey said today that he considers 180 innings his limit, his first season back from Tommy John surgery, and that he doesn't want to talk about the playoffs. This comes after the Mets plan to use Harvey into the postseason should they get there. Harvey's at 166 in the third innings currently. That could just have him two more if he's stuck on that 180 innings limit, guys. This is a potentially huge development.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Harvey is saying Dr. James Andrews is the one who came up with those 180 innings. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Dan has our Coons.com sideline report.
Yeah, I think the Nats are planning on all the Mets pitchers shutting it down for the playoffs.
Well, let's hope that Bartolo Colon doesn't shut it down tonight, because the Mets just got 4 in the first on Brad Hand in Miami. Zimmerman high in the air. Out to center. Cameron Maybin. 4 in a row for Shelby Miller. He has thrown just over 10 pitches, and almost every one of them a strike.
Tweet your strongest fan photo using hashtag NatsCouchCam, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast that is brought to you by T-Mobile. Yeah, that whole Matt Harvey thing was strange, and that's a distraction that the Mets don't need at this time of year.
Yeah. Something turning into the club said, he said, agent said sort of scenario.
But the Mets have had all kinds of distractions this year, and they've overcome them all. The one thing I would say is Twitter is still working. It did not blow up after the Matt Harvey declaration today.
To the right of Simmons, who's made 4 errors all year at short, and he makes a very good play to throw out Clint Robinson. 5 in a row for Shelby Miller. In the East, the Nats are 5 back. Marlins have won 4 in a row, so they've got some momentum, even though they're down early. Braves have lost 10 straight. Phillies did lose today, so they'll stay behind Atlanta in the standings no matter what happens. Yunel Escobar, 5 for 8 in the series. 3 RBIs, couple of walks. Against Shelby Miller, 1 for 6 career.
You know, Matt Harvey getting crushed on social media, and the fans in New York, a lot of media members crushing him. But nobody knows how his arm feels right now. Nobody knows how he's feeling right now. And reading between the lines of this whole thing, I would question if he's 100%. Based on his makeup, his character, that's not fake stuff that he does out there. There's some guys that are phony in this league, and they're all brave and macho every 5th day. But you feel like with Matt Harvey, it's the real deal. And for him to want to shut it down, or to think he needs to shut it down.
This ball into the right field corner. Long run for Markakis. That's a foul ball that he can't get to.
Yeah, well, I'm questioning if he's 100%, if he's healthy.
Hasn't exactly dominated his last half dozen starts or so. Not nearly throwing like he did early in the season.
And I also think that players have a small window of opportunity to set themselves up for the rest of their lives. And if you're feeling anything, yeah, you have a certain obligation, the whole, you know, the ring lasts forever thing. I understand all that. I also understand being a gamer. But when you don't have a multi-year contract like he does, if he goes out there and blows out again and has double Tommy John, his career's over, and he has nothing to show for it financially. So his decision, to me, if it's based on doctors' opinions, you can't argue with it.
Hot shot. Freddie Freeman, the latest Brave to rob a net. So Simmons did it to Robinson, and Freeman does it to Escobar. No score. 3rd inning coming up.
Memberships are on sale now. Enjoy the best seats in the house at the best price. You have access to private on-field events. You could even be a sideline reporter. It's that easy. Nats Plus membership gives you a year-round Nationals experience. Or visit nationals.com/Nats Plus and join today. Hey, I know that guy. What is up, Santa Claus?
Shelby Miller leads off. 3 for 46 this year. He's a 120 career hitter. No gloves. And Gio blows it by him. Gonzalez just had a 9-pitch second inning. So Gio had 30 pitches, 17 strikes through 2. Both appear to be on their games tonight, the starters. Well, you'd rather see Gio have that 2-walk inning in the first, get out of it, than have it happen later in the game. It'd be so great to see him get through one important ball game without that one inning that just lasts forever. So maybe it's come and gone. We'll see. 2-2 to Miller, and he takes it outside.
Slow down. You see him just tell himself slow down right there. You can tell when he's going to throw a strike before he throws it.
3 strikeouts in a row for Gio. First time through the order, the Braves go 0 for 7 with 2 walks. Toyota Case for Kids, $37 more to the Children's Inn at the National Institutes of Health every time a Nat pitcher gets a strikeout this year, thanks to the generosity and helping children and their families. Our Washington area Toyota dealers. Nick Markakis fouled out to Clint Robinson, who made a good play on the first pitch of the game. Markakis hitless in the series. He's been walked 3 times. 5 for 22 career against Gio Gonzalez. 94 to the outer half. Got jammed. Zimmerman on the backhand side. That ball flew up in the air on him, and Ryan made a fine play.
Well, he used to make this play in his sleep at third base. There was just a long throw involved at the back end of it. Now he just has to run to the bag. Little top spin hop. Picks up speed. Not a problem. Watch him stay soft. Kind of give with that a little bit. Nice play.
Pedro Siriaco walked with 1 out in the first. Great changeup. And the check swing, tracking all those good-looking guys in the photo bay down there, including our reporter.
Thumbs up for Massendan. He's okay.
Yeah.
Love the blue coat, by the way. Good choice. Sharp. Very sharp. Strong outfit for Massendan today. A+.
Looks like a UCLA head coach. 0-2 off to the right side. Gio pumping strikes right now. Nothing but. Two with 2 outs. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball in the dirt. Ramos will have to finish it off with a throw. So Gio takes care of his business, and Freddie Freeman, we'll see you next inning. Whenever he doesn't bat in an inning, that's a good thing when the Nats play the Braves.
Presented by Hatfield, Wednesday, September 9th. Nats take on the Mets, 7:05 start. Dollar hot dogs available for purchase at all Nats dog stands till the start of the 6th inning or while supplies last.
Bottom of the 3rd, and Ian Desmond, a big-time rip at a 1-0 pitch. So 1 for 7, a walk, a sacrifice in this series. It's been a tough matchup for him against Shelby Miller. Career 1 for 17. A lot of guys, a tough matchup. This 24-year-old right-hander, who at one point of the season was 3-0, then he was 5-1, and hasn't had a win in almost 5 months. 1-2. Good eye by Ian. Gets the count even.
In the month of August, this is your stat of the night, by the way. Month of August, Teheran and Miller 3-5 with a 3.50. Every other Brave starter 1-14 with a 8.44.
Desmond, the ball in on his hands just enough. Cameron Maybin doesn't see it, and that ball is on the ground in center field, and Ian Desmond has a double. Twilight time here, arriving earlier and earlier all the time, and Cameron Maybin never saw that ball.
Well, there goes the no-hitter. Ian Desmond with the hustle double. Watch him get it out of the box. Right away, he knows that Miller can't see it. So instead of settling for a single, he is busting it the whole way, and he gets to second base with a leadoff double. Simmons sees it. He's pointing to it, but Maybin didn't look at his infielder. You see him looking up. He's trying to find it, What a lot of times you do is you check your infielders. They'll be pointing at it. And as an outfielder this time of night, you whistle and you tell your infielders, point it out for me. It's that time of night. Used to do it every single night. But what you have to do is rely on them. So if you don't see it, take a peek down, look at your infielders. He's pointing right at it. He'll tell you where to look. Cameron Maybin never looked at Andrelton Simmons. He knew where the ball was.
Big time opportunity for the Nats to bust on top. Here's Ramos in the number 8 spot. He was ripping. That was not a let's hit a ground ball to the right side swing.
In about a 10-minute window every night when you can't see the baseball when it gets up and out of the stadium. And you see both infielders pointing at it. And once it gets up past the press box, past the booth. It's tough to see. It just blends.
Yeah, Nick Swisher saw it from the side, but he couldn't get there from left field. And way inside to Ramos. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marlins didn't score in the first, and now the Mets have 2 more. They are handing it to Brad Hand and the Marlins here. 6-0. Ramos, that's behind the runners, so Desmond will advance. Productive out, and we'll see what Gio can do to help the Nats get on the board here. STG takes us inside the numbers, so Vidal Nuno, and this is a minimum of guys with 1 start this year, but Shelby Miller probably the one best known just because of his name, what kind of pitcher everybody knows he is.
Vidal had good hair, though.
Hope Shelby's not losing his. Gio 3 for 34 this year. Well, about a couple of RBIs. Infield way in. They move to the right side a bit. That's on the inside corner. Outfield very shallow. .96 upstairs, 0-2.
Ian Desmond's creeping down that third baseline. I think Matt Williams has a contact play on it. Gio Gonzalez puts it in play. It looks like Desmond is going on down angle. Ball on the ground. I'm thinking he's running. Let's see.
And I say against a pitcher like this, why not? Strike 3 call. 2 outs. Shelby Miller, 3rd strikeout. First time through, the Nationals go 1 for 9. Now it's up to Jason Worth. Fly ball to right first time. Jason's on a 6-game hitting streak, and 4 of those games have featured 2 hits or more. In this series, he's 3 for 10. Gets away on a breaking ball. Here comes Desmond. The Nats have the lead.
That's a thank you very much. And a slider to the backhand side. Betancourt can't get it. Ian Desmond, who hustled all the way around the bases on that. Give Ian Desmond credit for basically getting a run by himself. He saw that Cameron Maben lost the ball. He hustled to second base. A chopper to shortstop that a lot of guys wouldn't think about advancing to third on. He advances. Then ball in the dirt, goes to the backstop. So that run created courtesy of Ian Desmond and his hustle.
Yeah, I love what he did after he hit that fly ball. So many guys that Pete might be slamming their bat down.
Right.
Really upset. He just took off in case, and it pays off with a run.
Well, if you run hard to first every single time, you don't have to all of a sudden run hard to first if somebody loses a ball in the sun or the twilight.
Worth jacks one to the gap in left center, beyond the reach of Nick Swisher, and Jason Worth has a 7-game hitting streak. That ball was crushed. So a pair of doubles here in the third.
15 games as a Nats leadoff hitter. Jason Worth is hitting .333, 21 for 63. 6 doubles, 1 triple, 3 homers, 8 RBI. Make it 7 doubles now with a 2-out shot to the gap. And the Nats trying to add on here.
So here's Anthony Rendon. Shelby Miller struck him out first time. Jason Worth's now been on base 19 of the last 20 games.
Quick
up
pitch.
and in.
See that? No leg kick, just kind of tried to quick pitch Anthony Rendon with 2 strikes, sneak one by him. Watch. Tanner Roark used to do this a lot. Well, he couldn't see it right there, but he just came set and went real quick.
Nissan on the pitch track. Turning into a good at bat now, 2-2. Anthony Rendon, 12 of his last 13 games, hitting safely, 9 RBIs over that time.
I think Shelby Miller's doing you a favor when he throws that cutter between 87 and 91 miles an hour. I mean, his fastball's 95, 97. It's got pretty good jump to it late, seems like. And you see the ratio. I don't know if that's right. He's thrown a couple off-speed pitches in there.
25 wins in 2 years with St. Louis. Big name players changing teams. Hayward, him, and Jordan Walden. Anthony Rendon gets jammed. Now he hopes it gets out of play and it will over the Nats dugout. Career record for Miller of 31 and 30. 91st career start. Bryce Harper waiting. Way inside. Rendon had to be quick to get that one from hitting it. So Shelby Miller now about to throw his 40th pitch. Rendon with a base hit to left. Jason Worth will score. And the Nats continue to pull out some lightning in this homestand. It's now 2-0. For Anthony Rendon, the count was 0-2, and that's his 17th RBI.
Short, quick to the baseball, 2-strike adjustment, foot down early. Really just trying to play Pepper right here. You saw the Clint Eastwood eye squint thing. Love to see that on the Anthony Rendon knock. Clutch 2-out hit from the Nats second baseman. 2-out double from Jason Worth. 2-out knock from Anthony Rendon. 2-0.
And inning far from over with Bryce Harper stepping in. Bryce has been on base 8 times in this series already. And Shelby Miller shows him a little off speed to the outside edge.
It's the second one that the Braves catcher's taken square off the mask tonight. good, Bubble.
One ball and 2 strikes.
He tries to climb the ladder again like he did first time. Now he tried to go up there.
STG has some more numbers for us on Bryce. On base percentage plus slugging against any opponent single season. So Vlad, we're out the Phillies. Dawson the Cardinals. Tim Raines the Reds. And Bryce Harper the Braves.
And Bryce the only one out of all of those guys that knows what OPS is.
Quite possible. Serves one to left. It's out of play. By the way, we noted tonight going into this evening of baseball that Bryce, maybe the biggest spread there's been in several weeks. A 7-point lead on D. Gordon in the batting race. 333 coming into 326. One ball, 2 strikes. They want to bust him in. He fought it off. Could be playable if Oliveira can get there, and he'll miss it. They just gave Bryce Harper another chance.
Well, he checked to see where he was and then kind of felt the fence here at the end. You see him take his eye off the ball. Right at the end, he kind of felt the fence. See him just looking for the fence before the ball was near his glove.
Shelby Miller is in the midst of a 30-pitch inning. It all started with an Ian Desmond pop fly lost in the twilight. All over the place in this at bat on the pitch track. 2-2, and now Bryce works it full. Rendon will get a head start. Pick your poison here. Harper or the red hot guy right-handed on deck.
When you were playing the Braves in the old days, if they didn't want to face Harper and they didn't want to face Zimmerman, a guy like Greg Maddux would walk them both and walk them loaded. If he wanted the third guy in the sequence, he had so much confidence in his stuff. They would pick out who they wanted. In a situation like this, if Maddux was on the mound, he'd probably, and no disrespect, go after Clint Robinson and pitch around Harper, pitch around Zimmerman, and then pitch carefully to Robinson with the bases loaded.
You're right, no slight on any hitter, just a tribute to a Hall of Fame pitcher.
Yeah, they'd pick out the guys they wanted and didn't care who was on base.
3-2, and Bryce Harper hits a high drive to deep left center. See you later. Number 33. It's 4-0 Washington. Pitch at bat, by the way.
Boy, he knew it as soon as he hit it. When he hits balls, they stay hit, folks. And I tell you what, as soon as he made contact, he knew that ball was out of here. The rest of us were waiting around, seeing, doesn't have enough carry to it. Is it going to make it the way Maben went after it? You were wondering. And Bryce Harper had a good look at it at home plate. He knew he got him. What an at-bat by Bryce Harper. And a hug from Steve McCaddy.
Yeah, he just made life a little easier on Steve Starter.
Boy, he fouled off some tough pitches, took some tough pitches, and then finally gets this leg kick early, foot down early. Looks like a cutter from Shelby Miller. 91, doing him a little bit of a favor, catches it out front.
Bryce Harper's first career home run against Miller. Ryan Zimmerman takes an off-speed pitch, at least a little bit off at 90. 2 balls, 1 strike. So for Bryce, homering 2 nights in a row. And now he has 3 RBIs in this series.
Chasing that MVP, isn't he?
He has scored 99 runs now. Touching them all on that? Yeah, he certainly is.
Some guys having good seasons, but Bryce Harper having as good a season as anybody in all of baseball.
2-2 pitch. And a ball bounced up the middle for Simmons. A loud inning for the Nats. And it took Shelby Miller almost 40 pitches. 4 for the Nats. RBIs by Rendon and 2 by Harper. Top of the 4th inning, Freddie Freeman walked his first time up. And the fastball rides way inside, 2-0. '82 runs batted in for Bryce. And don't you love to see him do that to the opposite field? Beginning early in the season back in May when he was really locked in. The homers were going everywhere, not just pull side.
Hit speed?
I'll take 103.
I'll take 101.
Wow. He had to supply all the power, huh? You talked about that cutter. Wasn't the 4-seamer.
I've learned on hit speed by paying attention, the higher the ball is, the slower the velocity. The lower the trajectory, the higher the velocity. Captain Obvious.
Freddie Freeman hits one really high.
I'll tell you what, the one Michael Taylor hit last night, he hit one 493 in Colorado, but this one was 493 feet high last night. I don't know that I've seen a higher trajectory on a home run all season long by a Nats player. That one was straight up the elevator chute, and it ended up going into the red seats.
Yeah, I think you're right on that call.
He has got some big-time pop.
Full count to the leadoff man, 4th inning. Gio swing and a miss on 86 to Freddie Freeman. It's a great breaking ball.
Threw him a changeup actually on the inner half of the plate. Just a reminder, as you enjoy cold one, look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. That's brought to you by Miller Lite.
That's 9 in a row by Gio, by the way. Mixing it up beautifully. Swisher and Maben, the next two.
Lots of Harpers. I mean, if we get that shot again, it seemed like every T-shirt was a Harper T-shirt. I mean, right? Why wouldn't you, though? There's some Harper twins. But, I mean, every shirt in that section was Harper.
Bouncing ball to third. Escobar on a hop. 2 down. More numbers from STG. So this is at Nats Park. The Nationals have won 12 of these 13 games. The runs more than doubling up. The starters' ERA not even in the ballpark for the Braves. Batting averages speak for themselves. Home runs, domination.
Mets are 14-2 against the Phillies this year, and the Braves are the Nats version of that.
Yeah, that whole Atlanta-Washington thing has done a 180 since about 2 to 3 years ago. That's upstairs in the zone for a strike to Cameron Maben, who bounced out to Ian Desmond first time up. Nissan will track it.
Got a good curveball going tonight. The one he struck out Siriaco on to end the third was filth and muck. I mean, he just threw that as hard as he could. Remember we used to talk about the wiffle ball curve with Gio Gonzalez? That one to Siriaco was really the first wiffle ball type curve where it just was off a table to end the third.
Got him. And right before that pitch, Maben requested time because Gio was working too quickly for him. That's a great sign. Gio is dealing. Offense is hammering. And the Nats lead 4-0. Bottom of the fourth inning. Clint Robinson leads off against Shelby Miller. Michael Bourne has replaced Cameron Maben in center field. Maben was called out on strikes. I'm not aware that he was tossed from the game.
No, he was kind of hobbling on his ground out to end the first. Freddie Gonzalez was on the top step with the trainer. They were going to go out and look at him. He waved them off and went to center field, so he's got something going on. Almost came out of the game in the first. He's got plantar fasciitis too. He was talking about it last time the Braves were in town and how much it hurts.
2-1 pitch outside. Healthy hack by Clint on 3-1. Robinson's in a great series. 3 hits, 4 RBIs, couple of walks. Shelby Miller, 17 pitches after 2 innings. He threw 38 last inning. That ball gets away and Clint Robinson walks. Geico President's Race. Abe is out fast. Teddy Cal.
Saturday Red Zone looking sharp.
Georgetown. Teddy takes the lead.
Oh, wait.
William Howard tapped a late bid, but they did say Teddy cleared the tape first.
Really? I would have challenged that. Wow. That was so
That
close.
was not presidential. Escobar stung the ball first time, and Freddie Freeman, who wasn't holding a runner on that time, took a base hit away from him. So he's up hacking. To cut that ball off, Oliveira. Great slide to take out Siriaco with Escobar heading toward first. 1 out.
Clint Robinson always plays hard. Old school throwback type player. You didn't have to look. You knew he was going to go hard in a second. They were going to turn this anyways, but that's how you play the game, folks. Whether you think they're going to turn it or not, you go in hard, you go in late, you go in clean. Good slide by Robinson.
It's a big man coming in. 6'5", just under 250. And here's Ian Desmond.
Big country coming at you right there.
Clint Robinson from Jefferson City, Missouri, right in the middle of the state, the capital. And here's Ian Desmond. So Desmond 2 for 8 with that gift double first time, and he did a great job of taking advantage of that. As FP said, manufacturing that run after he hustled to second. Oh, 2. And Ian Desmond's going to bust his bat and drop one into right center. Escobar heading for third. The hits keep on coming for the Nats. 2 for Desmond. They've out hit the Braves 5-zip, and it's first and third, 1 out.
Starting to click, isn't it?
Really is.
I mean, nice job of selling out to go the other way, just off the end of the bat. You know what's coming. Bat died a hero. And good read by Escobar, knowing it was going to be over Siriaco's head. So first and third, 1 out, and a chance for Wilson Ramos. Rick Shue loving what he's seeing from his hitters. Looking good with the goatee too, by the way. I like it.
In the dirt, Bethancourt a block, and then a delayed trip down to second for Ian Desmond. He's done some serious base running in this game.
He has. The hustle double, advance into third on a chopper to short. Wild pitch, scored first time up. So single, and now he reads the ball in the dirt. As soon as that thing hit, he was off to the races. No hesitation whatsoever. Watch him top of the screen. He's looking for it. As soon as he sees it in the dirt, he takes off. Nothing you could do.
Escobar holding at third. No chance for a throw over there for Bethancourt. First base open, but only one out. Swing and a miss on a big breaking ball. It's 1-1. Tapper in front of the plate, runner coming home, and Escobar just ran right around the catcher. The Braves throw it away. Here comes another run to score on a ground ball that went about 10 feet at the most, and it's 6-0.
Holy moly, did I just see that?
I believe so.
I'm trying to see what Freddie Gonzalez is thinking about, but I mean, you know, Escobar had every right to go out of the baseline to avoid the tag, and it's where it just got weird real quick here. Great base running by Yunel. I mean, it's just like sliding around the tag at home plate, right? When you see guys dive and miss a tag, same thing, and then he kind of hits the brakes, goes back, touches the plate. Ball's thrown away. Ian Desmond, who's totally into the run till they tag you offense tonight, scores all the way from second base.
Fielder's choice, RBI, E2 on the second run. Shelby Miller was not expecting that throw. Now Gio can bunt another runner ahead, and he lays down a perfect bunt. Freeman to Siriaco. This ball club is playing some serious baseball.
But I think a lot of that goes back to Ian Desmond reading the ball in the dirt and getting to second base. You know, so many times at the major league level, you see curveballs in the dirt. It hits the catcher's chest protector, bounces 3 feet away, and the guy's standing on first base. Major league players don't necessarily look for the ball in the dirt. I always say, if you're not stealing, you got nothing to do, look for the down angle. If you see it in the dirt, take off. And if you have a coach that doesn't care if you get thrown out, so what? For you younger players, it's a great lesson. Okay, I got my side. I'm not stealing. I'm going to look for the ball in the dirt and watch it out of the pitcher's hand. As soon as it hits the dirt, you take off. By the time the catcher scrambles, picks it up, you stand on second. You don't see it very often, but for me, it should be something that's second nature to everybody at this level.
Ramos picks up his 57th RBI on that play. Jason Worth spotting the breaking ball. He laid off. 2-0. So the Mets ahead Miami 7-0. Nats ahead here 6-0. Fastball is up 3-0.
Yes, yes, and yes again. Loves to hit 3-0. This is the greenest light ever.
A frustrated Shelby Miller, we're told, stormed into the Atlanta dugout after that 4-run Nats third inning. Next inning hasn't gone much better for him, and that's a poor pitch walk. 2 on 2 out with Anthony Rendon. Like Worth batting for the third time.
Spend an extended Labor Day weekend at home with us and the Nats. Enjoy no added fees on tickets for games through September 9th against the Braves and the Mets. Visit Astros.com/stay to purchase your tickets right now.
Seventh man to bat in the inning, Anthony Rendon. Right-hander Dan Barawa is up. Rendon base hit to left last time. Kept that inning alive, made it 2-0, and then Bryce Harper went deep. Front door for a strike. It's 1-1. Bryce Harper might get 3 at-bats in the first 4 innings. Shelby Miller up to 77 pitches with 2 outs, 4th inning. Well, he gave some strikes on the inside edge, but knocked that one away. 2-2. Nationals are right at their runs per game that started on August 22nd. And Rendon will take a swing and stay alive.
Games card dating back to August 18th at Colorado. The Nats offense is averaging 6.18 runs per game. So for 17 games now, they're averaging this. And counting, make it 18.
Swing and a miss. Shelby Miller with 95 upstairs. Nationals pick up 2 more runs, 1 unearned, and lead 6-0.
Time for your Cox game summary. Cox, get your sports advice on any device with Cox. 6-0 as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Gio Gonzalez doing his thing. Bryce Harper, Ian Desmond, all having good nights. Nats playing their best baseball of the year the last few weeks.
That's interesting. Bryce Harper, 500 career hits now, 88 of them home runs. Gio has retired 10 straight Braves after he walked Siriaco and Freeman back-to-back first inning.
Yeah, that Harvey innings limit thing is still so fascinating to me. I saw something yesterday where Steven Strasburg shut down at 159 1/3. He actually had more pitches than Matt Harvey has at 166 this year.
I've always wondered about the innings thing versus the number of pitches after which a young guy would be shut down.
Right.
I mean, does Dr. James Andrews know how stressful 108 innings are? 180. It's always kind of intrigued me how they come up with a number like that.
Right. And, you know, there's 20 pitch innings and there's 8 pitch innings and there's high stress innings and there's low stress innings. And I mean, they have far more information than I do, but I always just thought if you're going to shut somebody down, shut them down at whatever number of pitches versus whatever number of innings. But I mean, apparently they do all their work and they have all that data. And then, you know, based on the controversy when Steven was shut down in 2012, and then what happened today and the storm that surrounds it. I mean, New York basically imploded today when Matt Harvey said, "I'm done." Is it better to just say it in spring training and stick to it all year? Or is it better to drop a serious bomb in the middle of a pennant race in September? You make the call.
1-1 pitch, and Oliveira with a hard hack there.
And I'm also wondering, as I'm going on a riff right now,
keep going.
What do his teammates think about it?
Trying to win a division, and what a distraction this is.
You know, what do his teammates think about him shutting it down?
Yeah, that's true.
Not about the distraction, about him saying, "I'm done at 180. And what's the reaction going to be the next time he pitches at Citi Field? Can he pitch at Citi Field this year?
Interesting stuff. 2-2. Swing and a miss. That ball gets way away, but first base occupied. The runner can advance, but the batter cannot go to first. So Simmons to second on Gio's 7th strikeout. Probably have to assess a wild pitch on that, on a wicked breaking ball. Number 8 hitter Christian Bethancourt. And Shelby Miller is on deck. I can think of a parallel between 12 the Nats and 15 the Mets. Both of those ball clubs kind of arrived a year before everybody thought they would, and so the pitch thing was something nobody was talking about at the beginning of our season 3 years ago, and this year at the beginning of the Mets season. You know, the Nats were supposed to be really good in 13. Well, they jumped the gun by a year, and you know, as we think about this whole thing, all of a sudden you're in a pennant race and you're doing things a young team was not necessarily supposed to do.
But imagine if Steven Strasburg came out in September and said,
yeah, he said, "I want to pitch."
Yeah.
And we admired him for that.
And Mike Rizzo took all the pressure off him and said, "Hey, in spring training, this is how it's going to be. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm sticking to it."
Mike took all the heat, too. Got him on the inside edge. Bethancourt doesn't like it. Jerry Meal's strike zone has been on the inner edge to right-handed batters all throughout this game.
All right, kids, Uncle FP, gather around the television. Uncle FP's got a story for you. I'm going to tell you the story about the bucket of filth. And what goes into the bucket of filth? Last night with a walk-off home run, check out Anthony Rendon over here up top. He's got the bucket of filth. And we're going to go back to it.
We'll get back to it.
And I'm going to tell you guys what's in the bucket. So there's coffee in the bucket. There's bubble gum and seeds in the bucket. Obviously water. Last night they put some Alka-Seltzer in the bucket of filth. Some Gatorade bars for projectiles because you have to do some damage when you throw the bucket of filth on somebody. So it starts in about the 9th inning of a tie game or when you're down by 1. The longer the game goes, the more stuff is added into the bucket of filth so that it's filthier. And I'm hearing that last year there was some long games, and it gets kind of creative and interesting as they go on. It's kind of like a superstition. The more weird stuff we put in the bucket, we're hoping that the game ends on a walk-off. And I don't think Michael Taylor was too thrilled last night about what was in the bucket of filth, from what I understand. And there's all kinds of secret ingredients, kids, that I can't describe because this is a family show, that are in the bucket of filth. Trust me, it definitely has earned its name correctly, the bucket of filth.
2 balls and 1 strike to Shelby Miller.
I love telling bedtime stories.
And he will pop it up to the right side. Wilson Ramos gets rid of the mask, gets the ball, and that's it for the Braves in the top of the 5th inning. Atlanta has 3 walks and nothing else offensively tonight.
Game. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. What should we make it? Oh, let's make it Bryce Harper's 33rd home run. Left center field. Little backdoor cutter that he caught out front. He knew it was gone. Hitting the red seats in left center field. Little shout out to the folks in the stands. And Shelby Miller frustrated. 0-11 in his last 19 starts. You know what? I'd like to see my pitcher throwing things in the dugout. That means he's still competing and he's not sitting there thinking, poor me.
First pitch, bottom of the 5th, and Bryce fouls it over the third base dugout. So Harper now in this series, 3 for 5, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, 6 walks, 7 runs scored. And a fastball is upstairs. Pitch number 10. He went down and got it. Kind of golfed it out of here to left center, reaching the red seats. Did he go? No swing, says Paul Emmel down at third. And the count's 2 balls, 1 strike.
I mean, at bats like that in the pennant race in September, when you throw a 10-pitch at bat on somebody and you end it with a tater the other way, that's the stuff that most valuable players are made of. Jump on my back. Here we go, boys. I'm going to carry this ball club into October. And he and Ryan Zimmerman, the rest of them, are really starting to click.
Two balls, 1 strike. Looks like he held again.
That didn't feel good on his hip, I'll tell you that right now.
He didn't hold, according to Emmel.
That's the one that hurts his back hip, and he's hurting right now. Man, it looked like he caught a cleat or something. But all that torque on his back hip this year, and he's trying to check his swing, and you see him kind of just get all awkward with it right there at the end, the slippage of the cleat.
I still don't think he swung. 2-2. That's way upstairs. And a payoff pitch with Bryce leading off the bottom of the 5th. He'll hit this one out to right center. It'll plug the gap. It's going to the scoreboard on a hop, and Bryce Harper has another extra base hit. He now has 66 extra base hits with his homer and now his double tonight.
He's so strong. He hits this off the end of the bat. This isn't even on the barrel. Most guys have to square a ball up right on the screws to hit it where Bryce Harper just hit that baseball. Had a funny sound to it. It was off the end of the bat, and watch where it lands. One hops the fence in right center field. That's how strong Bryce Harper is. So 2 for 3, home run, double. Having a big night. What new?
Ryan Zimmerman trying to break an 0 for 2 slump. It's about as cold as he's been for the last 2 weeks. Still has 5 hits and 10 at-bats in this series with 4 batted in. Christian Bethancourt will visit with Shelby Miller. Braves getting their bullpen revved up again. Dan Barawa is up for the 2nd time tonight. So here's those last 2 weeks talking about. And we remember the 30-game streak 6 years ago. The power numbers are becoming eerily similar over a much shorter period of time. And Jeep takes us inside those numbers. That's 88 perfect pitch to the outside edge. So since the 3rd of August, Ryan right there with 2 Blue Jays who are part of an offense that have been knocking down fences everywhere for a month and a half. That ball into left field. Here comes Harper. Bob Henley's going to send him. Nick Swisher with a short throw, and now Zimmerman's caught between 1st and 2nd. Might as well keep going, or they're going to tag him out. Ball got cut off, and Ryan got cut off as well, but he drives in his 72nd run of the year.
Oh, he's a little frustrated because he's probably, besides Jason Worth, the best base runner on this ball club. But, 6-0, make it 7-0, not a big deal. Good send by Bob Henley, knowing the arm strength of Nick Swisher. I mean, you got to run when you see that. So an easy send for Henley. Nice piece of hitting by Ryan Zimmerman. I like what he did right there. Runner on 2nd, nobody out, up by 6 runs. You don't have to hit the ball the right side. Just drive him in. That's exactly what he did.
Nationals have out hit the Braves now 7-0 tonight. Here's Clint Robinson. And he takes one outside, 2-0. Healthy Hack. Ryan Zimmerman now has 24 runs batted in his last 12 games. Just about the end of the line for Shelby Miller as Dan Barawa continues to throw in their bullpen. And that's outside, 3-2. Clint Robinson walks again. He has walked 4 times in this series. Third of the night for Shelby Miller. Got to bring in Yunel Escobar. And as we mentioned, the end of the line right now for Shelby Miller. He'll go 4 1/3 tonight. This call to the bullpen packaged by the UPS store. Your one-stop shop for all your small business needs. Let us handle your mailbox service needs. We love logistics. Day, final installment of the Patriotic Series presented by SAIC. Be a part of the salute to our country, those who serve, as the Nats take on the Metropolitans. It's a night game at 7:05, 202-675-NATS, or Nationals.com. Shelby Miller, rough night, 94 pitches, 59 strikes. In 4 1/3, the Nats got him for 7 hits, and to this point, 7 runs.
And see the arsenal for Barawa. Fastball 94, slider 85. 4th appearance, opponents hitting 375 off Danny Barawa.
Nats roughed him up for 2 runs on 3 hits in the 6th inning here Thursday night. Escobar checked his swing, might have been a called strike. Got jammed on a heater in on his hands. Freddie Freeman giving chase. It's right on the top of that small auxiliary scoreboard there and bouncing into the seats. Ian Desmond, dangerous lately, and he's waiting. 2 for 2 tonight.
Timing him up.
And Escobar to center. That's Michael Bourne. 2 outs. For the Achiever and PNC Bank with our minor league report. Just drafted this June out of Cardinal Gibbons High School, North Carolina. Look what Max Schrock is doing. Last 10 games, he's with the Auburn Double Days. Low A ball on his way to Hagerstown and Potomac eventually. 366. 5'8", 180. 20 years of age. Looks like a pepper pot with some pop.
Forget the minor leagues. He's ready. Call him up.
How about that? Great first summer. You're just out of school, and you're hitting 366 over a couple of weeks in professional baseball.
And you get on a major league broadcast. Go figure.
Wow. Ian Desmond takes one inside. Double in the third, single in the fourth. He bounced out against this right-hander Thursday night. 3-0. Barawa out of St. John's, Rocky Point High School in New York before that. Right in there to Ian Desmond. Claimed on waivers from the Yankees, appeared in one game with New York this year. That was August 14th. 3-2 with 2 outs. Robinson on the move. Desmond, that ball hit him in the leg or the foot. Foul ball. Ian Desmond called out on a pitch to the outside edge. Nats, though, pick up another run. They've scored in 3 straight innings. Zimmerman, the RBI this time. Top of the 6th inning. Nick Markakis. It's upstairs and in from Gio Gonzalez. 77th pitch, 44 strikes. And that is the first Atlanta hit of the night. Worth over to cut it off. Jason with a good play. Markakis hits the skids and heads back to first. So Gio, a no-hitter through 5 with 3 walks, and the crowd acknowledges his solid first half of this game.
You're thinking with 1 out right there in the 6th. Here we go. And that was the at-bat. I was kind of circled 3rd time around. Markakis near 300 hitter. That was the big out. And a nice swing by Markakis. And now you just play.
Pedro Ciriaco has walked and struck out. Now for Gio, try to go as long as you can with this healthy lead. He's in the 6th inning. He's gone at least 15 times all year. He's gone 7 5 times, and he's gone 8 innings once.
Geez, you give up 1 hit and everybody's getting loose.
Did your first 2 innings free out there on the health club plan?
Well,
or what?
You know, the bullpen's same seats. The guy got no hitter going, so they've been sitting around a long time. They probably haven't moved since about the 3rd inning, and there's no way that the payphone's going to ring when the guy's got a no hitter going. So all of a sudden, Gio gives up a base hit, and everybody getting loose. Looks like a CrossFit class out there.
Three balls, 1 strike. Not the kind of game, time of the game when you want to walk anybody. So he throws it in there. Freddie Freeman is on deck here in the 6th. Big guy who can change the game in a hurry.
Let's go. Read his lips.
Right on the inside edge, and another Brave has been rung up by Jerry Meals on that inside corner pitch. That's 9 strikeouts for Gio.
But I did not think that was a strike. Gio Gonzalez definitely take it, and Freddie Gonzalez trying to keep Pedro Ciriaco in the game. Let's see what Nissan thinks. It likes the low strike. But that one was real low. Good frame by Wilson Ramos. Borderline call, goes Gio's way.
Oops.
The one thing I would say is, I've been told this by big league umps before, if you swing at a curveball that's 58 feet for strike 3 the time before, it's hard to argue a borderline pitch the next time up, because you showed the umpire that you really don't know the strike zone, at least for a night, or against this pitcher the time before.
2-0. Freddie Freeman a walk and a strikeout tonight in the series. 3 for 6, 4 bases on balls. Braves box score not a whole lot. Ciriaco, Freeman back-to-back walks first inning. A walk to Simmons leading off the 5th, and the Nick Markakis leadoff single here. Nothing is all at all has changed in the Miami ball game. 6th inning, 7-0 Mets down there. And a ball smashed foul. Might have broken his bat. He did. 2-2. Gio goes with the fastball. Strikeout number 10. And that's his first time in double digits this year.
Stepping up big time tonight. We said in the first inning, Matt Williams and Nats need a big one out of Gio tonight. Well, they're getting it. Fastball velocity's been good. Command on the inner half to the glove side to righties has been good. Change-up curveball to complement it.
Gio's previous high, 9 Ks at the Mets, May 2nd, in a 1-0 Nats win. Strike to Nick Swisher.
And Jerry Meals hunting strikes hasn't really hurt.
He's going to get the call on that side. Nick Swisher 0 for 2, couple of ground balls to third. Markakis still parked at first base.
Well, I love the close-ups of Gio talking to himself out there. It's great stuff, guys. Stay with that. I mean, he is really talking to himself tonight. Let's go. Here we go. I mean, he always does, but it seems like more so tonight. Focus.
And a breaking ball was sitting there. Swisher hits it into left. So the Braves, their first 2 hits of the night here in the 6th. And it's not Cameron Maybin coming in, but Michael Bourne, who replaced him earlier. Pitch counts have been very economical since that long first inning with the 2 walks. .32-year-old outfielder Michael Bourne. He is 4 for 14 career against Gio Gonzalez. Check of Markakis. Ramos away. Pitch swung on, says Paul Emmel, strike 2.
Freddie Gonzalez giving Paul Emmel a long look at third base. It didn't look initially like he went. Let's see what the replay looks like. Guess he went. Still not sure, really.
1-2 pitch. Curveball over but low. On a 3-2 pitch, runners should be on the move here. Andrelton Simmons who's had good career success against Gio, is on deck. Pitch count reaches 100 here in the 6th inning.
Up by 7, just challenge him with a fastball. 3-2. Curveball's there if he wants it in this count. I think he wants to talk to Wilson Ramos, maybe go no sign. Nick Markakis has been standing on second base, I should say, for a bunch of pitches. Either talking over what they want to do or switching up the signs or going no sign. Taps.
And Michael Bourne having a good at bat. That went off of Ramos' gear.
So instead of putting down fingers, Wilson just touching his shin guard, his chest protector, certain sequence they're using wherever he starts, wherever he stops. He's a fastball, curveball. See, he wanted to put down a finger. Did you see that just out of habit at the very end?
3-2. Close, and that call doesn't go Gio's way, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs.
The payphone's going to ring.
Yep.
Pretty good pitch right here. Was it in the box?
It's been a borderline kind of inning with a Siriaco strike 3 call 4 hitters ago.
Well,
Freddie Freeman struck out swinging.
But up 7 runs, you don't need to be so fine.
Correct.
And be shaving corners. Here it is, man. Right after him. You hit it, you hit it.
He just walked a batter with 31 home runs in 8 years. Casey Jansen getting ready. And Steve McCaddy will pay a visit.
I want somebody to make a cell phone that looks like a glove so that when you're talking on the phone, you could be like a major leaguer and talk into a glove. You know, when you have it on speaker, just hold it up to your face. Someone should think of that. Right? Look,
I think people will be tweeting you shortly offering capital for such a venture.
Look, I got my Bob. Look, see, you just go like this, and if this is a glove, I look like I'm having a conference on the mound. You could be talking to your friend on the street, and you're holding your phone up. Look at, perfect.
I'm gonna have to think about that one.
I got
Simmons, 7 for 21 career against Gio. 2 homers, 5 RBIs. He hit that hot shot to Escobar earlier tonight. And then last inning, Simmons led off and Gio walked him.
ideas for days over here, Carp.
Well, fielders' thoughts can roam a little bit as well on a long inning like this. So
that's very true.
You know, you told me sometimes you'd be in the outfield and not a whole lot to do, and you start thinking about some other things.
Yeah, you start looking in the stands between pitches, waving to fans, thinking about your next at bat.
This has been a 30-pitch, actually a 28-pitch inning right now. It's that one inning every time out Gio seems to have. And a bouncing ball. That's foul. Had it been fair, Escobar would have been there. He wasn't that far off the line. And now the count's 0-2 to Andrelton Simmons.
Start doing math in your head. If I get a hit this next time up, my average is going to go from here to here. But when a guy's working fast, you don't have time to have all these random thoughts in your head. You're just on your toes. There's a ball, make a play. That's why having a good tempo out there, getting in the strike zone is so effective for any pitcher.
0-2. There it is to Desmond. He can look over. Anthony Rendon's right there. Long inning. The Braves have left 6 tonight, but it's still a 6-0. Actually 7-0 Washington lead.
Get out of the road. You're going to get hit. You're standing in the middle of the street.
That's Roberto Clemente Bridge.
That's brought to you by T-Mobile. Thanks, guys. Haley Scanlon. All right. They were obviously in Pittsburgh. Big Nats fans up for that series. There was a lot of Nats fans in Pittsburgh, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was a rough weekend, but fantastic atmosphere at PNC. So here we go, bottom 6. It's Ramos and then Dan Uggla. Looks like Gio's done after 106 pitches. Wilson Ramos 0 for 2 with an RBI ground ball tonight. And Dan Barawa in for another inning of work for the Braves after sitting in his dugout for a long time. He might have had to go underneath and take a few tosses during that half inning. Nationals box score. A lot of Harper, a lot of Desmond, and then good swinging teammates sprinkled up and down the lineup. Took the Nats till the 3rd inning to get a hit, and it was because of the twilight. And boy, did they take advantage. That's inside to Wilson Ramos, 3-1. And to the right side with a couple of hops to Pedro Siriaco. So Gio done officially now. 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts. The Potomac Nationals are wrapping things up Monday. Don't forget about $1 tickets on Labor Day. Check them out. Fireworks for the weekend. PotomacNationals.com.
What a night for Gio Gonzalez. 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs. Ten strikeouts.
And a breaking ball in there to Dan Uggla. Former Brave. 4 for 23 with an RBI as a pinch hitter this year. Done some damage against his former teammates.
He did not miss a weightlifting session while on the DL, that's for sure.
It's been a while since he's parked one. When that one came fading. Wow, 95 with that kind of movement, 2-1.
He was talking about a home run he hit today in batting practice. He was talking about a home run he hit at RFK in the upper deck when he was with the Marlins over the Paul Warfield sign, which I have no idea. I've never seen a baseball game there. I don't know if you were
there. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you were with the Nationals when he was with the Marlins, but he said it's one of the farthest ones he's ever hit.
Yeah, we saw that one because 06 was his first year. And he gets under this one to left. Alfonso Soriano visited the upper deck several times during his 40-40 season when he had 46 home runs in 06. Remember Lance Berkman doing it a couple of times? That's big man's territory out there, even if he hit one right down the line. 2 outs, bases empty, and Jason Worth the hitter.
Here's some sick coyotes in the background. Did you hear that, Kurt?
Mm-hmm.
Trying. Some wounded coyotes.
A couple of Banshees mixed in. Front door slider on the inside edge, 0-2. And Worth, good swing to right, tailing back to Nick Markakis. The Nats go 1-2-3. We're in the 7th now, and the Nats bullpen taking over in a 7-0 game.
Had it going on a little rough out of the gate, but he figured out a couple of walks in the first inning. Then he started turning on the fastball, curveball, changeup combination. It was just overpowering. And I think the fastball to the glove side in on righties had a little generous strike zone at times from Jerry Meals, but hey, he was throwing strikes all night. Meals is a strike hunter, and Gio Gonzalez with the outing that the Nats so desperately needed from him.
And here's Casey Jansen to take this ball game through the 7th. Casey trying to get things right after a couple of rough outings in St. Louis. First appearance of this series. (1-1). Oliveira has done something this year I'm not sure I've ever heard of. He has played for 6 different teams in 2 organizations. The Dodgers rookie club in Arizona, AA Tulsa, AAA Oklahoma City. Came over in a trade, and here comes Bryce Harper to grab it. And then he played for the Gulf Coast Braves, Single-A Rome, AAA Gwinnett. The Braves are his 7th team. 1 out, 7th inning. Be good for Casey's confidence to come out and get a 1-2-3 7th inning, just to get back on the other side of the ledger. Christian Bettencourt, and he goes to Bryce Harper for the 2nd out. Wilson Ramos handling Gio and Jansen, and Dan has more.
Bob, this is the 106th game behind the plate this season for Wilson Ramos, and he's taken a lot of foul balls off his body and just blocked pitches during that time. He told me the other day that sometimes he'll joke with coaches, I don't want to catch next year, I'm going to coach. But he says he loves his job, and that's even when he's getting beat up, he still loves his job. Overall, he says he feels great physically right now. He's just thankful he's avoided the injuries that he's had over the last couple seasons. These 106 games that he's played this year, the most that he's had in the season since 2011.
All right, Dan.
That's when Jose Lobaton always screams, "We got ice," every time Wilson Ramos gets hit with a foul ball. They do that to each other.
Yeah, Wilson, a year after that 113, that was that horrible knee injury he suffered in Cincinnati in May. 78 games the following year when he had the hamstring that really got him probably 3 times on the DL that year. And then 88 games last year when he started the season, breaking his hamate bone on opening day at New York. And didn't know it until he'd had 3 at-bats. Daniel Castro, the hitter, and Casey Jansen throws one by him. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, there's no better cure when you're scuffling as a reliever to just get back out on that mound and figure it out. And that's the only way you're going to get better.
"90 big league saves to his credit. Took a little bit off and tried to get him on the inside edge.
Castro trying to drop a knee into that one and get on board.
Three-two.
Swing mode. You don't have to throw a strike. He's getting a hit.
A tomahawk chop at a high fastball. That'll be out of play, right field way.
It's a hard concept as a pitcher to realize in the heat of battle you don't have to throw a strike on 3-2 because your whole life you've been trained to throw strikes on this count. But when you see a guy fouling off pitch after pitch and he's going out of the zone to do so, he's in swing mode. Throw something that looks like a strike, you're going to swing.
10th pitch of the at-bat, and Casey Jansen gets his 1-2-3. 7th inning. It's the Hyundai 7th inning stretch at Nationals Park. 4 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, a run in the 5th. It's all Nats trying to win a series tonight and maybe a sweep tomorrow. You think this ball club's given these fans enough to smile about and clap about lately? It's been a fun ride on this homestand. It'll only get more intense come Monday. Nats have some business to take care of. Former National Ross Detweiler for the 7th here. Joe Ross tomorrow against Manny Banuelos, and then the Mets are here for Labor Day, 1 o'clock Monday. Ross got roughed up here when he came in the 5th inning on Thursday night. Actually 3 walks, a double, a sac fly, and he gave up 2 runs.
Yeah, 2013, Ross threw that fastball 88% of the time. Last year he threw it 86% of the time, and this year 77% of the time. So he's thrown a lot more curveballs and changeups this year as opposed to previous seasons.
Anthony Rendon is 1 for 3, couple of strikeouts, and he's 2 for 4. Rendon now, over his last 14 games, hitting about 370.
Remember, Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every home run a Nats player hits this season. So keep them coming. It's for a wonderful cause. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection. As Bryce Harper steps into the box.
And Detweiler walked him leading off that 5th inning Thursday night. Another multi-hit game for Bryce tonight, his 42nd. And he's added 2 extra base hits onto his total for 66. Big blow of the game gave the Nats a 4-0 3rd inning lead, when he battled Shelby Miller and hit one out on the 10th pitch. I'd love to know how many miles Bryce Harper has covered on the bases this year, as much as he's been aboard.
I'd like to know how many miles 33 home runs goes.
Yeah. So for Bryce, it'd be about, what, 4 homers per mile? No, more than that. No. I'm thinking yards. We're thinking 1,700 yards, but that's 5,200 feet.
5,280 feet.
Yeah. So that's a lot of long balls to go a mile. You know, football season, everybody talking about yards now. That's in there.
Bryce bent over to take his shin guard off and actually unbuckled it a few things, and now he's got to regroup, and he can take a walk around for a second. Shaking his head.
And that's on the outer half, and he drops his bat again.
He and Jerry Meals don't get along.
Well, remember the knock it off game several weeks ago when Jerry Meals gave Bryce a couple of chances to stay and then tossed him.
What does Pitch Track think? Huh? Pretty good pitch.
Okay. Pitch, close swing, and he did. Bryce Harper has another extra base hit. Anthony Rendon goes to 3rd. Harper thinking 3. Spots the runner in front of him, and at 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. And Bryce Harper has 8 total bases tonight, and now 67 extra base hits.
Still upset about strike 2, and he just hit the double down the corner. Jerry Meals just got Bryce Harper a double. I mean, they would look good on Pitch Track. Bryce Harper still shaking his head, but he got an extra few pitches to stand in there. He gets a 3-2 fastball from Ross Detweiler, and his 2nd double of the night, his 3rd hit. Bryce Harper 3 for 4, 2 doubles, a home run. And let the MVP talk begin, folks.
He is on some kind of roll right now. 5 hits in this series in just 7 at bats. And he's been on base 11 times in 3 games.
Pretty good stare down, too, from second base to home plate there with Bryce Harper and Jerry Meals.
You know, and I remember the conversation you and I had that night. Jerry gave him a chance. It's not like he just pulled the trigger and tossed Bryce out. He gave Bryce a couple of chances.
He did. And in a game like that in extra innings, he knows he had to stay in the game. He just, sometimes his emotions get the best of him. And
Ryan Zimmerman smelling more RBIs. 72, including one tonight. 24 in his last 12 games. And now second and third, nobody out. Right-hander Ryan Kelly throwing. Two and one.
I mean, Cargo has 36 home runs. Arenado with 35. They both play in Colorado. They're in last place, so I don't think they're going to get too many MVP votes. No offense, but, you know, the most valuable player has to play on a winning team, in my opinion.
Yep. Paul
Goldschmidt on a decent team, but he has 27 home runs going into today. 97 RBI. Andrew McCutchen having a nice season in Pittsburgh. Anthony Rizzo having a nice season in Chicago. I look toward the winning teams. Buster Posey hitting 324 going into today for competition in an MVP race. I mean, I guess it all depends on the month of September, but I get to see him play every day. My vote shouldn't count.
Sure.
I don't see those other guys play every day like I do Bryce, but who's been better is the question.
Two to Zimmerman, who's 1 for 3 tonight. Doubled against Ross Detweiler 2 nights ago. Gets a breaking ball, hits it hard to third. It'll drive in a run. And then another runner goes to third, Bryce Harper. So a very productive out. And Ryan Zimmerman has 73 RBIs.
Getting the job done once again.
Next 5. First one tomorrow. Joe Ross and Manny Banuelos. 1:35 tomorrow. Then the Mets will be here for Labor Day. Night games Tuesday and Wednesday. The Nats are off Thursday before heading down to Miami. And it'll be the first time in a long time we are not in New York for September 11th.
Yeah.
We'll be in Florida. Nothing Nats. Infield in. Clint Robinson against Detweiler. Strike one. Detweiler struck him out looking in that game Thursday. And the curveball is outside. 1-1. Nats have scored in 4 of the last 5 innings. Right on the edge. Perfect fastball. There's Matt Grace, the rookie. That was a 15-pitch, 10-strike, 7th inning for Casey Jansen. And Robinson not biting. He tried to gauge that big breaker, and the count's even 2-2. Pardon me, got him. And Freddie Gonzalez coming out to make a pitching change. Escobar is on deck, so Freddie will come with the right-hander Ryan Kelly. So that's the second out here in the 7th inning. Ross Detweiler gives up a couple of hits and a run, and the Nats deeper into the Atlanta bullpen. Summer event. Bryce, a rookie. And for the second straight night, Washington would launch 6 homers, a pair from Bryce Harper, during a 9-1 win against the Cubs. Gio would blank the Cubbies for 7 innings. He'd have 16 in a row without a run. His major league leading 18th win, along with R.A. Dickey, he would win 3 more. So the Nats homered 6 times the night before. First team in history to hit 6 or more in 2 consecutive home games. There's Ryan Kelly's second appearance of the series, and he gets Yunel Escobar here.
Yeah, fastball 92, cut the fastball at 88, curveball 78, but pretty much fastball cutter.
Escobar 0 for 3. By the way, Bryce Harper has scored his 99th and 100th runs tonight, and he's 90 feet from another. Over 100 walks, over 100 runs soon, and he'll have to finish strong to get 100 RBIs. Escobar high in the air out to right center. Nick Markakis, and that's it for the Nats. But they pick up a run. 8-0, 6 outs to get. Looks like Matt Grace is next. Presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. Welcome back to the top of the 8th inning. The Nats' third pitcher of the night, and we'll give you some defensive changes here. Matt Dendecker's in right field for Jason Worth. Anthony Rendon has moved over to third. Escobar taken out on a double switch. And then Trey Turner at second base. So looks like we'll figure out who's batting ninth, Turner or Dendecker. Matt, the huge hit last night, got the Nats back even in the 9th inning with 2 outs. And then they took care of business in the bottom of the 10th on the Michael Taylor Ruthian clout to left center. Not a bad night. 1 at bat. Long ball, 3 RBIs.
Bucket of filth.
This ball up the middle, and Trey Turner not able to handle that one off the bat of Nick Markakis. Had a lot of spin on it.
Well, you see that one kind of setting up the way Trey was going after this baseball. Probably had a little more time than he thought. Going to field it on the run. Ball kind of came up on him. He went with 2 hands, and then once he kicked it. That's just something that the longer he plays second base, knows the league, knows the speed of the runner. Markakis not a flyer by any means. You set up, you field that, you throw him out. I'm sure the game moving fast for Trey still at this level.
Matt Grace now against Pedro Siriaco. It's the Nationals' first error of this series. Defense has been solid lately. So it's 8-9-1 Washington, 0-2-1 Atlanta. Siriaco 0 for 2 with a walk.
Heads up.
And a check swing. Bottom of the ninth now. The Marlins trailing the Mets 7-0. And ball off the glove of Wilson Ramos down to second base. Markakis.
Just a quick refresher on what sign they want to use with the runner on second.
And by the way, the changes the Nats made are all straight up. Grace in the number 9 hole. They're going to hit for him in the bottom of the 8th anyway. Dendecker first and Turner batting 6th.
Well, they might not hit for him. He might hit. 8-0 game. He gets quick 3 outs.
Yeah, you're right. It could save an arm. Get the evening over.
A pinch hit situation.
Tapper to third, foul again. Yeah, I'm looking at a box score online that has Grace in Escobar's spot and Turner batting 9th, which would make more sense. That's Siriaco right back to the pitcher. He just took care of the runner and gets a first out with Freddie Freeman coming up. 1 out, 8th inning.
The most popular way to follow the action of the Washington Nationals baseball team is with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat app right now. Can't believe you don't already have it. Seriously, let's go.
Freddie Freeman up there hacking 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Nationals on the verge of their 70th win of the year, and they're trying to grab number 40 here at home.
But it's a nasty sinker, 92. Just turning it over right underneath the hands and the bat of Freddie Freeman.
Isn't that great when you have a pitch like that? You can throw to a righty or a lefty.
Look at that late movement. Nasty.
Live arm for Matt Grace. And Freeman fights one off and gets it into right field. Markakis had to stop. He wasn't sure that was going through. So he makes it over to third base. First and third, one out. That'll bring in Nick Swisher.
Well, Matt Grace doing his job. Just keep throwing strikes. Pound that strike zone. Let your defense work behind you. A pretty good pitch to Freddie Freeman. Made a good pitch to Markakis and retired Siriaco. So keep doing what you're doing.
Swisher a base hit to left last time. He's 1 for 3 on the night.
Turn one of those sinkers over right here and get a ground ball. That's what he's thinking about. Nick Swisher's thinking about getting something elevated and driving it in the air.
.92 up in his zone a little bit to the outside edge. One ball, 2 strikes. And that one got Nick Swisher. Looks like Blake Treinen for the 9th inning.
Or maybe the 8th.
Yeah, Bourne a lefty next, and then if it gets any farther, the Braves would have scored a run. So maybe in line for Simmons.
That's the one Swisher was looking for the whole at bat, smelling his bat, probably burning, get that burning wood smell and that foul ball straight back.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got an armband that says Swish on it.
Yeah, so
he's got batting gloves in his back pocket. He's got batting gloves on his hands. He's got sweatbands everywhere. I mean, he is style master, isn't he? He's got it all going on.
So would those maybe be his running gloves in his pocket?
Yeah, maybe. You know, I would have loved to have done that too, because you have, you know, your pair you hit with that are your gamers, and you don't want to rip them when you get on base. But I always thought it was jinxing it to put a pair of base running gloves in your back pocket. Like, oh yeah, I'm assuming I'm going to get the first right here. So I never would do that.
2-2. And a ball hit hard to left. It's a fair ball. Markakis will score. Freddie Freeman heading for third. He'll be held by Bo Porter. Good thing. Oh, and that was close as Desmond cut it off, and then Rendon grabbed his throw. So the Braves are on the board here in the 8th inning.
A good at bat by Nick Swisher. Fouled off some pitches. Finally got one he could drive. Bullet down the left field line. 7th double of the season. Gets the Braves on the board.
His 3rd hit of this series.
A little too much play with that. Swisher all over it. And
Steve McCaddy to the mound. to chat with Matt Grace. Lefty-lefty matchup with Michael Bourne, and as we mentioned earlier, and now there's no double play in order with one out. If the inning gets to Andrelton Simmons on deck, we could see Blake Trinan. Look like a little wry smile by the cat right there at the end. Michael Bourne came in to replace Cameron Maybin. Walked in the 6th. It's a final in Miami. Mets win 7-0. And they will throw their rookie Steven Matz at the Marlins tomorrow. Great pitch. I don't know if Steve McCatty said this, but Matt's been a lot quicker on those 2 pitches than he was before. He was taking a lot of time between pitches in this inning, and he goes down and away for a ball.
I think it's just as important for relievers to have a good tempo as it is starting pitchers.
Well, as a rule, when they're in the game, it's because men are on base.
But in their defense, they're trying to slow the game down when they come in. I mean, you're coming into a game and usually into a situation, you know, ice cold. So the game can speed up. Whenever you come into a game as a position player, you know, you go from 0 to 60, you're standing out in front of 40,000 people. You're on TV, it's going fast. So a lot of times you'll see relievers with slower tempos because they are trying to slow the game down.
2-2. Lifted to left, and Clint Robinson is there. Coming home. Not a problem for Freddie Freeman. So the Braves get a couple of runs in this inning. That, in essence, would have been the 3rd out. So 1 run in this inning will be earned. And Bourne collects the sac fly. So the updated standings have the Nats 5.5 back of the Mets, and that goes to 5 if the Nats can go ahead and close this thing out. Then Matt Williams will come out and get Matt Grace and bring in Blake Trinan. So an unearned run in here in the 8th. Trinan against Andrelton Simmons when we bring you back to Nationals Park. Visit Annapolis.org. Find the Chesapeake experience at visitannapolis.org. We're heading upstream on the Anacostia tonight. Great shot from the Masson yacht. First base side of the ballpark. New construction to the right. A lot of things happening in the neighborhood. And here's Blake Trinan to face Andrelton Simmons, who's 1 for 5 career against him.
Mid to upper 90s fastball, slider to complement that pitch. He'll two-seam the fastball, four-seam the fastball. Bro, you're not kidding. This is my 3rd year living in Navy Yard. It's a completely different place than when I moved here. You don't really need to leave here anymore. You have everything you need. Restaurants, grocery stores, gyms.
Every time the Nats come home, there's a couple more stories on the buildings around the ballpark.
Yeah.
Had him reaching, and out to Ian Desmond. Good job by Blake Trinan to come in and get Andrelton Simmons. Braves will get 2 runs, 1 earned, 8-2, bottom of the 8th coming up. To beat Manny Banuelos tomorrow and sweep the Atlanta Braves. He's 1-3 with a 3.33 ERA. Made his major league debut against the Nats back on the 2nd of July. Joe Ross at home 4-2 with a 191 overall. Joe checks in with a 5-5 record and a 3.50 ERA. So Nats Extra tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and we'll join you from the booth at 1:30. First pitch 1:35.
I thought it was interesting what Joe Ross said after his last outing against the Cardinals, that he's not used to using rosin. He's never used rosin. In the humidity, he really didn't have a grip on the baseball.
Ian Desmond 2 for 3 tonight. He has scored 2 runs, double, single. Ryan Kelly goes slider low and away. Bottom of the 8th underway. Crowd of 28,616 tonight. 23.5 last night. Actually, the biggest crowd of the homestand so far was 28,627 on Thursday. And Ian Desmond has another base hit and another extra base hit. Hardline drive into the left field corner. And Ian Desmond isn't 1 for 7 in this series anymore. With this production tonight, he's 4 for 11.
3 for 4, pair of doubles. Nice night for Ian Desmond.
Some kind of sock at the bottom of the lineup with Ramos.
Run back fastball, ran right back onto the barrel. And a leadoff double here in the 8th. Let's see it hooking, just staying fair.
Wilson Ramos 0 for 3, but an RBI grounder. 57 batted in. And a chance for another here as Kelly misses well outside. Blake Trinan looks like he'll be pitching the 9th inning. So the scoreboard had it right. Those are all straight up changes, no double switches.
Wilson trying to check in with the knock tonight. 0 for 3. Ground out to short. Fielder's choice. Ground out to second. I'm telling you, the nights like Thursday and tonight, those are the nights you get well as a hitter. Remember that streak where the Nats ran into all that tough pitching at once, and everybody was saying, what's wrong with the offense? Well, what's wrong with the offense sometimes is those guys that are getting paid tons of money to get you out, and you run into those streaks where you face some of the best pitching in baseball. That's what's wrong with the offense. And then you wear it those nights. You try to scrap out a hit as a hitter and have something to show. You know, compete, try to beat those guys the best you can. But when you face guys that aren't Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke and all those other studs they faced in a row, you get well as a hitter. You take advantage and you become greedy.
Yeah, you certainly get your dose of the other guys, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, Wilson Ramos 0 for 4 tonight. 1 out in the 8th, and Blake Treinen will get an AB here. He is 0 for 1 this season. So he gets to hear his walk-up music coming into pitch and hitting.
Does he have a big league yet? I want to say yeah.
I can check that
as a starter.
Momentarily. Yeah, he got some ABs last year.
I want to say it was an infield single too.
Blake Treinen was 1 for 12 last year. But you know, by now it's a line drive in the box score, as they say.
Doubling the gap when he's 38.
And that one is upstairs.
Whose bat is he using?
Good
he
call.
have his own bats? Sure he does. But that's no fun. He didn't know he was going to hit today. Did he have a bat in the rack?
I would ask Bryce Harper or Ryan Zimmerman for anything in their stockpile.
And they'd say, get away from me, you non-athlete. That's what we used to call pitchers.
Here's slap it to the left side, cut off by Oliveira. 2 down here in the 8th.
Good swing.
Matt Dendecker will get a chance to hack. How about him last night, 9th inning? He was already in the game. 2 outs, Nats down by a run.
So clutch. Life extender for the Nats.
Yeah.
Wilson Ramos struck out, and you're thinking, oh my goodness. And I think with the drama in South Florida, the Mets were actually ahead at that time.
2-game swing within minutes.
Yes. I mean, that's what made last night an instant classic. You're watching the scoreboard. The Mets are leading, or the Marlins are leading, and the Mets are leading. Then it's tied. This one's tied. The Braves go ahead 2-1. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, and you're thinking, oh no. And then Matt Dendecker with the single up the middle. Game extender, and then you know the rest. Michael Taylor going shopping into the red porch with one of the highest home runs we've seen. I mean, Bryce Harper getting that thing started was key for me. And then Ryan Zimmerman first and third action, and the rest is history. It was a great game in and of itself, but based on the scoreboard watching that you had to do last night, made it even better. And then right when you got home, you found out the Marlins won.
2-0 pitch. Into the 10 o'clock hour here at Nationals Park. Washington trying to make it 3 in a row over the Braves. And then Joe Ross tomorrow. Ian Desmond, leadoff double, still parked at second base. Dendecker a late swing on 90, 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's another ball club out west that has to get it in gear. Boy, the Giants have lost 7 straight. They're 7.5 back of the Dodgers and 7.5 behind the Cubs in the wild card.
I think they're 8 and the Nats are 7.5, but still, either way, the Nats have a chance to do that too.
So Dendecker strikes out. We're going to the 9th. What a night. 8 runs, 10 hits.
Nats all night long. Never miss a game update, behind the scenes moment, or exclusive contest. Follow at Masson Nationals on Twitter for all the latest Nats news. Again, that's at Masson Nationals on Twitter.
Blake Trinan for the final 3 outs. 2 pitches, 2 strikes to get Andrelton Simmons. It'll be Oliveira, Bethancourt, and then the number 9 spot for the Braves.
Man, that sinker from Blake Trinan will make you hit some balls off your legs.
Yeah, down and in, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Goes with the slider, broken bat, hooked down the line by Oliveira. That'll be his first base hit of this series, and the second of his big league career in 14 and now 15 at bats. That'll bring in Christian Bethancourt.
Boy, if you bury that 2-seamer on him, he doesn't want to swing it after he hit it off his leg. Did a nice job of staying on that slider and serving it into left.
I think he just broke another bat. Was it foul? No. The runner just stopped. Bethancourt apparently is out. He just didn't bother to run. Maybe trying to sell a foul ball?
No, they called it a foul ball.
Okay, sorry. Everybody just kind of froze there. And Oliveira just now going back to first base.
Boy, talk about a sinker getting in on you. Wow. Watch where this sinker starts and watch where it ends up.
Yeah, got his foot.
He fouled it right off his foot. I mean, that was almost off his hands. When you have,
another one.
Yeah, when you have that going, you don't need your slider. I mean, you could throw it if you want, but you don't have to. You just throw all two-seamers in.
Bethancourt took a couple of steps and then kind of stopped as if he had a delayed reaction to that. Boy, that was some nasty fastballs. 0-2. And a ball hit out to center for Bryce Harper. First out. Top of the ninth. And the hitter will be Jace Peterson.
You know, when Blake Trinan reaches the next level, he's going to learn how to throw that two-seam fastball right at left-handed hitters and let it run back, that front hipper. When he can do that, the numbers of lefties against him are going to go down, and they'll be the same as how he is against right-handers.
Peterson, career against Trinan, 0 for 4. In this series, 0 for 9. And this one out to left center. Well hit. It's coming back, though. Clint Robinson on the run, reaches up and grabs it. 2 down. Byron Kerr, Ray Knight. That's extra coming up next. Johnny Holiday presiding over the Maryland Terrapins' first football win of the year this afternoon up at Byrd Stadium, and Byron's with us this evening. Top of the order, and here's Nick Markakis to his 0 for 2 career against Blake Trinan. That's an out away from 4 in a row and 70 wins on the year.
But tomorrow's going to be key. I mean, you can't overlook tomorrow and start thinking about the Mets coming to town Monday. It's human nature to think, okay, we've won 3 games in a row. But, I mean, they're all Game 7s now. So
yeah, you
have to treat tomorrow, again, like it's Game 7. Come out, throw everything you got at them, and worry about Monday when Monday gets here. Easier said than done, but that's what you got to do.
Well, Gio solid tonight. 2 hits, no runs in 6 innings. Back end of the bullpen will be nice and fresh for tomorrow and Monday, thanks to tonight.
Yeah, Gio was spectacular.
.3-0 pitch. And Blake Trinan walked Markakis on 4. That'll bring in Siriaco. 2 on, 2 out.
And Matt Thornton just jumped up in the Nats bullpen, and that's what this trip is about, to get Matt Thornton loose for Freddie Freeman. I mean, Blake Treinen knows he just threw 4 balls. Steve McCatty probably going to tell him something real positive right here. Hey, let's attack. Let's get in that strike zone. Get strike 1. We'll go from there. But this trip is really about getting Matt Thornton ready in case Siriaco reaches and you get the left-on-left matchup.
Well, expanded rosters in September. You can warm up whoever you want, whenever you want. I think the best news of all is the tying run is not in the on-deck circle. There's a strike at the knees. And whatever Steve McCatty said, we're all going home. The Nats win it, and they have won the series. They'll go for a sweep tomorrow. And another win for Gio tonight. He goes to 10-7 on the year. So a taken care of business night for the Nats, with the Mets winning as well. The spread in the East is still 5. Back with more in a moment.
That